Hi, I'm Elaine and welcome to my kitchen. Well, today I'm going to be making Swiss steak, and a little bit later on I'm going to be making stewed potatoes, so we'll start that in a while. But right now, let me turn you down so you can see what we're doing. Now on this plate right here I have about 1.5 pounds. This is a little more than 1.5 pounds of round steak pieces. And my husband got these already cut up at the store the other day. He found a good deal on them, so I thought, perfect thing to make round steak with. So, or Swiss steak, I'm sorry about that. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. Now in this bowl I have a little bit more than 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, and to that I have mixed in 1 tablespoon of ground mustard, and just whisk that together. And I'm going to get a spoon, and we're just going to dredge these pieces in flour, both sides, in that flour mixture. It doesn't have to take a lot, just, we're just going to kind of coat them a little bit here. Got some more here to coat. Now this recipe is really easy to do. We're going to do it in the crock pot. You can also do it in the oven. You can set the oven for 350 degrees and it takes maybe 1.5 hours to 2 hours, or just until the steaks are tender. You want these to be really tender. And it will serve, this recipe makes enough to serve 4 or 5 people, but what I'm going to do is just have enough for us today, and then I will freeze the rest of it and we'll use it another time on down the road when I'm a little bit too busy to cook, which happens a lot because right now I have enough piano students that my studio is pretty well full, and so a lot of times I do not have time to cook an evening meal, so it's really handy to have something like this in the freezer that I can just take out and thaw, and we can microwave it or whatever that we need to do. Okay, just about got this done, this part of it. Now when I get these all coated, move some of these out of the way, what I'm going to do is take my meat mallet and I'm going to pound these out and get these really tender. So, and then we're going to pan brown them. So what I'm going to do is finish what I'm doing here. I'm going to use my meat mallet and pound these out, and then I'm going to take you over to the stove and show you what we're going to do next. Be right back. Okay, I'm back and I have my round steak pieces browning in a skillet, and as these get brown, I'm not going to cook these through, I'm just browning them, and as they get brown we're going to put them in the crock pot. Let me check and see. Yeah, I can turn those over, it looks like. It's starting to brown. Now I had taken my meat mallet and pounded these down quite a bit to try and make sure that they were tender, and you also pound that coating down into them. And I think that's what makes them really good. It gives them a lot of flavor, especially with that dry mustard in there. So, okay, so these will be ready in just a minute to pop over to the crock pot. Now you can serve these with rice if you like instead of potatoes. I just think they go really good with the stewed potatoes, so that's why I'm going to do that later on. But you can serve them pretty much with anything that you like. Alright, let's get these moved over and then put these in my stock pot and start a few more here. You can probably hear my dryer going in the background. This is Saturday, which also turns out to be wash day for me, so that's when I do my laundry too, is on Saturday, so kind of busy through the week and don't get a lot of time for this. Now I only have about a tablespoon or so of oil in this skillet. That's about all you need to get these started browning. Okay, so I'm going to brown the rest of these, and when I get these browned I'm going to move you back over to the island and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, I have browned the ground beef, and I'm going to turn you down so you can see what went into the crock pot. Unfortunately, I had a little mishap and my camera turned itself off and I didn't realize it, so I missed all these ingredients while I was putting them in the pot. So I'm going to show you and tell you what I added. So the first thing I added was a 14.5-ounce can of stewed tomatoes. Actually, these were the petite diced. Then I added 3 medium carrots that I peeled and diced. I added 1 medium onion that I had peeled and cut into quarters. Let me just pull one of those out so you can see what I did. Here we go. So we just cut those into quarters. Okay, and then I added 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And I added 1 tablespoon of packed brown sugar. And what that brown sugar will do is it'll remove the acidic taste from those canned tomatoes that they can sometimes have, and it gives them a much fresher taste. So I've had recipes before where that wasn't added and you could really taste the acidic taste on those tomatoes. So that really helps with that. And then I added salt and pepper to taste. What I added for our taste was about a teaspoon of salt, and then I just added a generous shaking of black pepper. And this is ready to be plugged in. Now we're going to plug this in for about 3.5 hours on high, and when this gets close to being done and I'm ready to start the stewed potatoes, I will be back. Okay, our Swiss steak is done, and I am going to go ahead and start these stewed potatoes. And I've got my crock pot over there turned down to keep warm, so we're just going to let those stay warm. And I started some green beans, and these are going to be the stewed potatoes. So let me turn you down here. All right. I'm going to remove these from the heat just for a minute. And what I want to do is to 1/2 cup of milk, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of flour. And I'm just going to grab a fork and stir that around a little bit, get that mixed, get that combined good. Now if you have little lumps in your milk and your flour mixture, that's okay. They will cook up. Okay, and I have left just about probably a 1/2 cup or so of water in these potatoes. So I'm going to add our milk to that and just kind of gently stir these. Let me get a spatula. That might be a little bit too much there. Okay. And we're just going to kind of keep stirring those so that doesn't get stuck to the bottom. Alright. And see, that's beginning to thicken up already, and that's exactly what we want that to do. My dog is after something in there. I'm not sure what, but probably another dog. Okay, and I'm going to add just a little more salt to these. And also, I'm going to add some butter. My butter has kind of been sitting over there most of the day melting because it's been behind that crock pot. So we're going to add a little butter to those. And we'll put those back on the heat, and we'll stir that around a little bit. Add a little pepper to these. And I think I'm going to add just a touch more milk. Those are kind of thickening up a little too much. There we go. I added just a little bit more milk to these. Now this is a really old recipe. This is how my mother used to do it, and I imagine that my grandmother taught her, and her mother probably taught her, and so forth. It kind of went down that way. But these old recipes like this are really good. And let me grab my black pepper. And we're going to put this little black pepper in that. Okay. And these, the stewed potatoes are done, so I'm going to take them off the heat and just put the lid on them. And, whoops. And when the green beans are done and I get all this plated up, I will be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, I have our plates all ready and have got this all plated up, so let me turn you down here. Okay, and here is my husband's plate. These are the stewed potatoes. They came out really good. And there is the Swiss steak, and he has also got some green beans. And I have the same thing on my plate, only not quite as much as he does, but anyway. So we're going to go ahead and eat. And I do thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And if you liked my video and you found it helpful, I hope that you will like and subscribe and hit the message bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload new videos. So, okay, so have a great rest of the weekend, and thanks so much. We'll see you next time.